Welcome to Reddit on Reddit, the internet's auditory version of Reddit. I'm Nelson Allingham, joined by Michael Campbell.
Now, Nelson, we're getting toward the end of the year. Mm-hmm. The silly season, as some people call it.
Oh, silly. Why is it silly?
Because you're silly busy, Nelson.
Oh.
Always running around, different commitments and whatnot.
Not me, Cambo.
This is what I wanted to bring up.
I refuse to get anyone a gift or go to any sort of function, and I'll just live my life normally as a protest to the capitalism of, no, I said it properly, of Christmas. And what it's really about, it's about spending money, huh? It's for the big guys.
You want to bring it back to Jesus.
It's not for, it's all about Jesus. Nah, I don't want that either. Well, you know what? I've decided I'm rescinding what I said. I'm all about Christmas. I love presents. So.
The thing I wanted to bring up is the disparity. You're looking quite nice today. Oh. You're in quite a nice pressed collared shirt. You've got a nice pair of slacks on. Yeah. Whereas I am kind of just in whatever I woke up in. Slippers on my feet. Yeah. Is this going to be emblematic of our approach to this podcast in general? Yours a little more up class and professional, and I'm just here as well.
I thought that's how this podcast always goes.
Yeah, but I'm saying
we're dressed the way that the podcast usually is.
I'm saying, this is the first time it's been reflected in our clothing.
Yeah, in our clothing. Yeah, but otherwise, 100%, I'm always the professional one. But that's why you can't be trusted to do the show notes. I have to do it.
I was challenged that one time. Yeah. And universally known as the worst episode we've ever done.
It was the worst. But let's move on, Cameron.
Please, we don't have time. There's so many events to go to at this time of the year.
I know. I have to. Oh God! Now that I've changed my mind, I have to quickly go and get presents for everybody.
Maybe we shouldn't be complaining about this because I'm sure there are parts of the world where there aren't a lot of events on right now to go to.
Yeah, that's true. Suckers! I'm gonna meet friends later. I mean, it's their own fault, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, there's a very scary cluster growing in New South Wales right now.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that on the way over here. Yeah. We just need to get the vaccine real quick. Okay. Let's get into Reddit on Reddit. This first Reddit on Reddit is by Simsa Shims. And it was in the subreddit Crazy Ideas.
Do you think when you make a username like that, you're kind of like, say it was me, I'm like, hey Nelson, look, Sims are shims.
Yeah.
And then his friends are like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like, what?
What's a shim? Well, it kind of rhymes with sim.
Yeah. They're Sims are shims.
You trying to say Sims are simps? Oh, that would have been good.
Oh, that would have been way better. Anyway, instead of telling elderly relatives to watch out for scam emails/calls, teach them how to make scam emails/calls. A lot of old people fall for scams because they're lonely. So this helps 2 elderly people with 1 stone.
I understand the logic behind this, but I don't think, at least I can only talk about my grandparents. They will never know how to properly do a good internet scam. They just won't compute with them. Because, like, scams when they grew up was just like 3-card Monty.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you get made, you pack up your table and you run away. But internet scams are not always, but generally pretty sophisticated. You, like, make a fake credit card, like, you know, like when you're buying, like making a purchase and you've got like the window boxes that you add all your credit card information. Yeah. And you reskin one of those, but then divert those funds to, like, they're never going to do that.
Yeah. Well, you're just not thinking right, obviously, Cambo. You're thinking like an idiot millennial.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to think like an idiot boomer or whatever. Because, okay, you mentioned the 3-card Monty. What if they do that over the phone?
Yeah. Which one do you want? The one on the left? Nah.
Exactly. It's as easy as that. But what you have to do first is you have to set it up and, you know, give them a call. And they're like, oh, hello, this is Mary. Hey, Mary, I just got off the phone.
Let's do a simulation. Okay. Do you want to be the scammer and I'll be Mary, or do you want to be Mary?
I want to be the scammer.
Okay. Give me a ring.
Bring, bring.
I don't answer unknown numbers.
Bring, bring.
Hello?
Hey.
Hello?
Hey, this is John.
Who's this? What?
It's John.
I don't know a John.
You don't know a John. At your age, you know 0 Johns.
Hello? What? Hello, John. What can I do for you, John?
Well, Mary, was it? I think I had made up earlier.
Yes.
Guess what? Your lucky day.
Who's this?
It's John.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, you want to marry? Normally I go into a sophisticated scam, but want to give me some of your money?
Okay.
Easy.
Easy. What is that easy? I don't know why more people are doing it.
Easy.
I want to see, because we've automatically assumed they're going to take internet scams and turn them into, phone call scams. So I want to see some boomers ring up another boomer and, okay, this time I'm going to be the scammer and you're going to be Mary, right? Ring, ring.
I don't pick up one. I know.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello.
Let me turn the TV down.
John, can you turn the TV down? I'm a Nigerian prince.
Oh.
And I want to give you
Well, how
lots
do
of
you
money.
do?
As you can plainly hear.
Yeah, good. They just need to be...
Oh, what if this version of weird internet scams? Ring, ring.
Hello?
Penis enlargement. Do you need penis enlargement?
Oh, dear. John, this one's for you.
So my favorite thing about calling grandparents is that they always call out to whoever their partner is, kind of weirdly off the phone.
Yeah.
I think there's some... John!
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, it's because they're on a landline phone. They can't walk into the other room.
It's always to check a bit of information that's not important.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh yeah, we were there at 92 or 93. Well, we had the bungalow. So I'm like, John!
Yeah.
When we were there... Yeah. 93.
Or it's more like that conversation goes on for a while. You can only hear, when we had the bungalow. Remember? What year? Yes, the bungalow. What year? And then she'll come back and she'll be like, he doesn't know.
Anyway, what did you want? Money? Yes.
Yeah.
We just need your credit card information. And where do we live? John! Where do you leave the credit card? No, the credit card. Well, I don't know, do I? He doesn't know.
Classic. No, I do like the idea of just doing visual scams over the phone. I know. Okay, but I've got a bowl and a cup. Which one is it? Keep your ass peeled. And then what I think it is, it's like, hey, if you guess 3 times in a row, you win a lot of money. And then they get it twice in a row.
Yeah. But you'd even go simple. It's like, heads or tails? Call it now. Heads or tails?
Yeah.
Tails? No, it's heads.
Oh, you're going to have to send $300.
But I think if someone called me up and he was like, got 3 card money in front of me right now. Do you want to play? Part of me would go, yeah, a little bit.
All right.
Go on then.
Be honest though. Oh my God, Kemba, have we got a spin-off from Surprise Interview?
Surprise 3 card money.
Call somebody up. I think we'll keep it simple.
Yeah.
Heads or tails.
Yeah.
Just call somebody up, promise them money, then lie to them straight up.
Because we have the ability to connect a phone to this desk.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that would pick up right now if we did heads or tails?
I mean,
Or
I think you should just call
should we save it as a should we save it as a free Podnapping
this is
later?
a free Podnapping. This is a free Podnapping later on. Okay.
Look forward to surprise heads or tails.
I just really, I already know how this segment's going to go, and I'm loving it already.
I'm loving it.
Okay. Anything else about?
No, I forgot what the point of the original thing was.
Think about this though. Old people want often somebody else to talk to, so it is a nice kind of.
I like the idea that this could also be easily solved with just making pen pals, but they're like, well, obviously they should scam each other.
Yeah. Make money while you're doing it.
Yeah.
I do remember this. I saw this one story about, it was like an older lady, maybe not super old, and she was getting scammed by some Nigerian person, prince, I think. And it ended up being that she knew it was a scam, but then sort of helped him out. It was like, I'll give you money because you obviously need it. But keep talking to me and maybe I'll give you money. And then eventually just kind of helped him out. It was like, because they were doing it out of desperation, not out of we're making millions of dollars.
Yeah,
it's I need money to survive.
They're trying to get by.
I'm going to scam some people in a first world.
Do you think honesty is the best policy then? If you just email I'm really poor.
Yeah.
I'm really poor.
Okay. The spin-off to the Heads or Tails. Surprise Heads or Tails. Is that what we're going to call it?
Yeah, surprise Heads or Tails.
Is just, hey, we want money. Surprise, hey, we want money. Call up random people and say, hey, look, we're just after $20. That's it. We could, do you reckon there'd be some people that do it? Don't you reckon?
You could do one of those things where you say something and it's technically not a lie, but you've also never said that the two are related. We're just asking for donations, something like $20. $20 would make a starving child's day.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've never said that those two sentences are related. We're after $20.
We're
unrelated to that. $20 would make a starving child's day.
Yeah.
They're two facts that we've presented.
Yeah. Should we do the thing where we, every minute, somebody needs $20. Yeah, I think people will. It's not really a scam. We're not really lying.
Yeah, we're just asking for money.
We're asking for money. We're implying other people could also use the money.
We've distilled scamming down to its purest form.
Yeah.
Which is just can I have $20?
Yeah. Yeah. Is that scamming in its purest form? I feel like scamming in its purest form is theft.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Okay, anyway. Let's go on to Ask Reddit. Ask Reddit. This Ask Reddit is by GGFCHL. Or it could be a capital I at the end. That's how they get you.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Make you look a right fool.
Yeah. Okay, you go up to a bartender and tell him, make me a 2020. What drink does he make?
Regardless of what drink he makes, I think it'll be delayed.
Yeah.
He'd be like, I want that now. He's like, it's delayed.
Yeah.
And like, well, when's it coming? We don't have a date yet because we don't know when this whole thing's going to be over.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of factors to put into this drink, obviously. You understand.
So I don't think you're getting the 2020. I don't think you're getting it in 2020.
Yeah.
It's coming 2021.
Yeah.
Maybe 2022.
And it's a water.
Yeah. And you're like, I used to have this all the time. Like, yeah, but now it's delayed.
Yeah. But
it's something you were used to, just regularly have, and you didn't take, you just took completely for granted.
Yeah.
And now it's delayed a long time. You're going to wait forever, and then it will come back, and you'll be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. And also $40.
Have to drink it through a mask.
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, I was thinking maybe like a strainer. You know how they shake it up, pour it through the mask.
So is a 2020
And then
it's a drink that takes a long time to get to you, and then it's just a strained water.
Yeah.
Water strained through a mask, and it's $40.
Yeah. And also at the same time, the bartender, as he's straining through the mask, goes, see, it's ineffective. The water's getting through, because you need to be a little bit annoyed while you're getting the drink at the,
It's not 2020 unless someone is questioning the validity of everything that's been done to try and stop the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like the idea, actually, that I order the drink and they get, one of those, like, maybe let's say like those highball, nice kind of fancy glasses. Yep. And first of all, they just smash it across your face.
So you start by getting glassed.
Yeah, you get glassed straight up.
Yeah.
And then they walk off on you. And you wonder whether that was the drink. But it's not. They come back.
Yeah. And the glassing is representative of just the start of the year where Australia was completely on fire.
Yeah.
Because then by the time the drink gets there, you're like, but wait a minute, wasn't I glassed earlier? What's going on there?
Yeah.
That's the bushfires.
Yeah, that was the bushfires. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's definitely the right way to start. I also think that in the morning, this drink, if it is water, it's laced with something horrendous. So even when you wake up the next morning, you're like, wish that didn't happen. Wish I didn't order that one. That was a mistake. I knew it was called the 2020, but I went for it anyway.
Yeah, and then maybe while you're drinking the 2020, they can say, well, if you want, I can make you a 2021. And they're like, is that a better drink? And they're like, hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, I don't know. Hope so.
Yeah.
We all think it will be with very little evidence.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Unlikely you're going to get glassed because a lot of Australia is burnt already.
Yeah.
It's harder to light that up again, when there's not as much foliage around. So at the very least, we probably won't get glassed with the drink straight up.
Yeah. So you're saying the 2021 won't start with a glassing?
Won't start with a glassing. And that's the best thing. If it was not water, don't you think like it would just be every alcohol?
But in a way that isn't that satisfactory.
Well, I think in the idea that like there's no other mixes.
Right.
Like it's just alcohol all pulled together.
So it's like a bit of whiskey, a bit of vodka, a bit of tequila.
Yeah, because nobody wants that.
Yeah.
You know what? No, there is a mixer. It's milk. Which it just curdles with all the alcohol. It's when you drink it, it's kind of mushy, It's got a bit of substance to it. That's the kind of 2020 drink.
Yeah, I can see that because it is good because there is a lot going on in that drink. All the different alcohols mixed together. Yeah. And then mixed in with it is something no one wanted. Yeah, it's good. It works.
Exactly.
So glass on the head, then a big old glass full of different kinds of alcohol that don't mixed with milk.
Mixed with milk. That's what you get. 2020.
And everyone has to get it.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
You can't choose it. You have to get it.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Just like if you order the 2020, everyone in this bar has to have the 2020.
Well, I like the idea that it happens in a slow process. So it's like you order the 2020.
Yeah.
And then there's one bartender that just watches who you pass. In the bar, and then waits for them to come to the bar, and whatever they order, they get the 2020, and they're like, "Hey, this isn't the Jack and Coke that I asked for," and they were like, "Oh no, but you can't pass the guy with the 2020, so now you've got this horrendous alcohol milk drink." And I think, and then that goes on until everybody's just drinking 2020s in the bar. That's it.
I like it.
Also, side story, is this not just the greatest idea I've realized? Like, actually make the 2020 a good drink, but then do this at a bar.
Oh, yeah. So does the 2020 go to them when they go to order the next drink and they're like, I'm sorry, you can't have that drink. You have to have a 2020.
Yeah.
Or is it like if it's a very basic drink, do you just slide it next to people as they're talking and they look down like, oh God, I got a 2020.
No, I think
Where'd that come from?
I think I like the fact that it's a surprise.
Yeah.
That when you go to the bar and you order a drink and then they just plonk the 2020 on the table.
Yeah.
You're
I
like,
think
"Nah."
they should still take your order as normal.
Yeah.
So like, I'll have a Jack Daniels
Yeah.
with a Coke, no sugar. And like,
Yep.
Yeah. And then I think there's just a moment of recognition where they're like, oh, okay.
Damn it. I passed somebody that had it.
yeah.
He did. God damn it. It's annoying. And I can't get another drink until I've drunk it. Yeah. That's how it works.
Can I just leave this drink? No.
Sorry. I like that. You know what would be great is if you could put in a drink that it gives you like a light fever at the same time. Nothing serious.
Yeah.
Just to like
Just something that
Just a
goes down.
simulation of-
Something that goes down quite roughly enough to make you.
yeah. That's right. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Done. Don't steal our ideas.
We can't reiterate it enough on this show. Don't steal ideas.
How much money we'd make from that? From like one night. Then people wouldn't go back. They'd be like, I really didn't like that 2020 drink.
I also just want to remind all of our listeners, let your guard down.
Let your guard down. It's
If you know why, you know why. If you don't worry about it. Just let your guard down.
we probably shouldn't be reminding you to let your guard down, but we are. Okay. Here is another one. This is by Ashik. If guys started hiding their nips the ways girls do you think eventually girls would get conditioned to be sexually aroused by male breasts? Why or why not? Why and why not? We have to have an argument for and against.
Well, I mean, I think, so I guess they're trying to posit, is it the fact that you can't see them that makes them more attractive to men, like female nipples?
Yep.
Or is it just
Fipples,
like...
I prefer to call them. Fipples and mipples.
Is it one of those things that's just like one of those evolutionary hangovers that like it's attractive because you know it is for like procreation? You know, like there's some things that are weirdly hardwired into human beings to just kind of be appealing, like they like wide hips and things like that. You know, it's all kind of like this weird pre-programmed thing to do with like procreation, and breasts are really a part of that because it's like nurturing and feeding the young.
Yes.
And I know that doesn't sound sexy as I'm describing it, but there is like this pre-wiring in people's heads. I've always just assumed it was more to do with that than like, oh, but you can't see them, which is insane, by the way.
Yeah.
Just a weird double standard.
Yeah, it is. It is weird because you're right. Because if it is this evolutionary thing, then we are surely smart enough to know now that that's the reason why, and so it shouldn't really be an issue either way. But I suppose like here's what's wrong with like, you know, anybody showing their fips. Oh, I'm not going to continue that. That seems like a weird word to use. There's too many creeps in the world.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yes, everybody should be able to, you know, just go topless if they want, if it's a hot day or whatever. But there's too many creeps out there. And
the problem is that there is a way that if it became like whatever, right? Like everyone show your nipples. It's great.
Yeah.
It's good fun.
Yeah.
Eventually, society would move on from that. But you're going to have to go through like a few 100 years of the creeps to get there.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of...
Yeah, because you're right. Like initially, say there was some weird declaration. I don't know who would make this declaration.
Yeah.
And they're like, male nipples and female nipples, neither of them are offensive anymore. They're not seen as like a sexual thing. They're seen as just part of the human body. So it's no longer unacceptable for females to also have their nipples out in public, like for some reason it is for men to do.
Yeah.
And even if most were like, fine, which sadly I don't think would be the case, but even if that were to happen, you are putting up with the creeps for a very, very, very long time until that whole generation die out.
Yeah.
And are replaced with people that that's always been the norm.
It's like the idea of people who are, homophobic.
Yeah.
Like that, it was very much a generational thing. I feel. I mean, yeah, generational thing that he's kind of passed on, and we're still like slowly getting out of that idea that it's okay to be gay, and we're just waiting for that generation to die off.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time.
It's there holding on for dear life.
Yeah, exactly. Like probably, since. Because I feel like Catholicism or Christianity probably has a big part to do with why homophobia is bad. And that's been around for a while. So yeah, and we're still not even there yet.
Yeah. We thought that would die within a generation.
Exactly.
2,000 years that's been going.
Yeah.
Jesus. He's the guy that made it.
In this guy, yeah.
But there are a few religions, I think, that are kind of anti-homosexuality. So I think it's just a religious problem in general.
Yeah, that's true. Although it's weird that it is so many religions. Although, wasn't there a thing that like in like ancient Greece that being gay was like just a thing?
Yeah, and there's been like a somewhat of, I guess, a motto, which is like, it's like women are for families, men are for pleasure, kind of a thing. It's like,
Right.
like when it came to sex.
Yeah.
But I understand even just the idea that like it probably was frowned upon a long time ago because you can't necessarily procreate that way. And that's how the species exist. We're so overpopulated.
Yeah.
Right now. Fuck who you want.
It used to be a survival thing.
Yeah.
We need to keep the human race going.
So I understand, even if I don't agree with, I understand where probably that stigma had come from.
Yeah.
Is being like, oh, you're not helping the race. You're not helping the survival of the human race.
Really, what religion ruined is monogamy.
Yeah.
Because you would think that, ages ago, okay, we're trying to increase the population because that's how we survive. As animals, that's how we survive. We procreate and that's it. But then all of a sudden, religion was like, oh, just have the one mate, But really, it's like, well, if you just had sex with lots of people you want, guys, girls, doesn't matter. That would have been the best motto to go for,
But now is monogamy a way to stop the population growth? Like, just pick one person and have kids with them.
Yeah.
Stop having kids with everyone.
Yeah, that's true. That doesn't stop some people. You know what we should enforce now for the greater good is we should be anti-divorce. Real anti-divorce. Really shame people for getting it.
It's like, you got a couple.
Sure, you're in a loveless marriage, but...
They've got a couple and they're like, oh, we've tried, we just can't make it work. And you have to be like, really think about this.
Yeah.
Can you really not make it work?
Here's the thing. What if, just hypothetical, you go off and have a kid with another partner? How horrible a world would that be that we live in? Really make them think about their consequences. More kids?
Yeah.
Are you sure? How about you stay in this loveless marriage? We know no more kids are going to come from that, aren't we? Okay. Let's move on, Cambo, to Today I Advise. So now it's time for Today I Learned. Let's play the intro to that. Today I Learned. And also sometimes advice. This advice, I'm going to move this on segues, actually, unintentionally, because we started talking about nips and ended up into homophobic stuff and then Anyway.
And then just the very concept of marriage.
Okay, so this was by user Throwing Away a Gay.
That's not the segue, is it? Just that username?
Just that, no, it's this thing. My mum is forcing me to hang out with my male friends in an attempt to make me straight. So this was a female, obviously. Yep. And the long story short, or that TLDR can be, is that her mum was like, she came out to her parents and they were originally supportive, but then it's become now pretty evident that they were like, don't really like this gay thing. And have been, so she has like 2 male friends and 2 female friends, closer with the female friends. And the parents are trying, I think particularly her mum, is trying to get her to hang out with the males only, because she said to her, maybe if you hang out with them more, you'll find them more attractive.
Okay. A few layers here to strip away.
Yes.
One, let's just pretend that the mum's logic makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And we'll have to pretend.
This is the part of my imagination that I very rarely use because the pretending is so intense. But I will get there. Yeah.
Let's pretend her logic makes sense. I'm assuming this girl is younger, probably teenager.
Yeah, like 16-ish, I think.
If the mum thinks, what's the way to show her how amazing and fun and good men can be, don't send her off with a bunch of teenage boys. That's when men are at their worst.
Yeah, that's right. We all have to get through that period of our lives where we as men are the worst.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're yeah, I mean the logic to be like, if you see men more often, then you realize that you love them. Like just that concept, like how totally moronic do you have to be to think that is how it works anyway?
Yeah.
Is her mum like, oh, I hung out with a lot of boys when I was younger, and that's why I'm attracted to men.
If anything, I went to an all-boys school.
Yeah.
I should be as gay as the day is long.
Yeah.
If the logic is the more you see, the more you like.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And if anything, it had the opposite effect, because whenever a girl came along, bro, fresh of breath air. Like,
yeah. Exactly.
I said fresh of breath air, and I meant that.
Yeah.
I didn't misspeak.
Yeah. I just passed over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a good way. So maybe her mum should go the opposite way. Mm-hmm. Get her all the women.
Yeah.
And then you're like, sick of all these women hanging around all these women all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
at least that's how I'd pitch it to her if I was this girl. Like, Mum, surround me with women.
Yeah.
And I'll be sick of them.
Yeah. Think about this. If you ever had too many cookies and then you feel sick of cookies and you're like, I don't want these cookies anymore.
Yeah.
All the women, Mum.
Because then the thing is, that's a good metaphor, but I've never had too many cookies and been sick of cookies. So.
Yeah, I see.
But it sounds like something that might be true.
Yeah. But I just feel like really sorry for these people that are in this situation. Doesn't it suck so much? Like, I can't imagine. Obviously, I've never had to combat that sort of stuff before. But I think especially the idea, what I feel for these younger people coming out is that I mean, I guess there's two ways that I think both kind of suck. One is your parents are instantly against it, and that sucks in itself. But the second one is that your parents accept it, but only because they think it's like a phase, or that you will, they can influence it so that you're not gay anymore. Like, I think that's just as bad as parents sort of straight out coming out like, oh, no, we, hate you for this or whatever. I mean, that's horrible and stuff, but...
It's that whole thing where I think there are some people that seem to struggle with the idea that gay people don't always come out, especially to their parents and stuff. But this is exactly the reason why. Because even though they're like, oh, we accept it, they're still trying to change it.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely crazy.
I hate to say it, and I super love my mum, but I think she would be in that category. Like, and she's definitely not against gay people, but I think it's different for if it was one of her children, right? She's not homophobic or anything, but I think there's something about probably her upbringing. Like, she's a really family-oriented person, I think. And probably, maybe not so much if, because my older siblings have children. So I feel like maybe that puts a little bit more pressure off the fact that, like, if you're an only child and you're gay, the chances of having a family are much lower. Yeah. And if you're brought up to be like, somebody, like, I feel as though my mum would go through a typical kind of Italian family lifestyle where family is really important and that's why you live your life, then it's harder to sort of get over that mental hurdle of like, oh, I might not have, grandchildren or something.
And again, we've talked a lot about generational things because I think that what you've said is essentially the script of concerns of someone from an older generation, especially being like, if it's an only child and they're gay, then my chance of having an extended family are lessened. As if there aren't just millions of kids that need a home. And like,
I know what you mean, but that's not true. It's not true anymore. My friend who's gay actually told me all about it because it probably depends where you are in the world. But I had that thought too. And literally until I spoke to my friend probably only a year ago now, where he's looking to adopt. And in Australia in particular, just particularly because of safe sex practices and all that stuff, it's actually very rare that kids need adopting. And when they do, they go to straight couples, usually, that can't conceive, because of biological reasons. You can you can also obviously get a surrogate and do it that way. Again, I mean, that's not the idea of that there are kids out there that need a home.
Yeah. But my larger point was that, like, there's not just one way to create a family. I guess was my point. So like adoption, surrogate, there's all manner of ways to start a family.
Yeah.
But I think that there is this kind of traditionalist sense that being like, well, there's that one way, and if that way is blocked off, then there's no way to start a family, which I just don't think is really necessarily true.
I know what you mean, but my point actually is still that it's really hard because even with a surrogate and stuff like that, for one, it costs you tons of money to do, and you basically need to find if you're a guy in particular, it's a little bit easier for lesbian couples because obviously they have the body to do it. But if you're a guy and you want a baby, you have to find a woman that's willing to be pregnant for 9 months, and you can't in Australia pay them any money or anything like that. They have to do it out of the goodness of their own heart. You can pay for all their medical bills and anything associated with that, but you can't actually pay somebody for it. You can adopt overseas, but what happens often is that it'll be like from a third-ish world country or something like that, in poorer areas, let's say, and women will, as almost a job, get pregnant and give babies to, gay couples or whatever. And that's obviously really unethical.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot
It's almost like child farming, isn't it?
Yeah. Like there's a lot of health risks as well. It's like, well, if these people, are so desperate for money that they're willing to risk their life by becoming pregnant, Like
So constantly.
It's just like it's really not a good thing. And so that was like a long-winded way of getting to the point that like it's actually quite hard to have a family, even though it seems like there's so many different ways you can do it these days. Like there's actually some limitations of how to get there. So what I'm saying is those parents who have concerns should be concerned. They might not ever be
You've
grandparents.
taken a real left turn there. Oh, I should say right turn, really.
Yeah, that's right. No, obviously. I mean, I'm.
Yeah, if it wasn't clear, we're joking.
I'm not even planning to have kids, so I mean, I have no excuse this campaign. So yes. Okay, here is a Today I Learned. Oh wait, this is cross-posted to us by Avant Cardigan, but it was originally by Smoke Bomb Eggsy. Today I learned that before its release in 1993, Jurassic Park was shown to 200 London school children ages 8 to 11. They overwhelmingly enjoyed the film, and no ill effects were reported from schools or parents, earning the film a PG rating in Britain. Meanwhile, the American rating for the movie was PG-13.
I saw this fact on Reddit through the week. Mm-hmm. And I mean, no disrespect to either the person that posted it or Avon Cardigan who cross-posted it, but this is such a nothing fact that countries rate things differently.
Oh, well, I didn't think about the rating thing at all.
The idea that they showed it to the school kids and that's why it determined it.
Yeah.
But I just think that, films, depending on the culture that they're in, are appropriate to different things. And I would dare say, in fact, I've watched a documentary about the American rating system. It's called This Film Was Not Yet Classified. Yeah. And they are super, super conservative. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they were more conservative, even though there's evidence to prove the otherwise. Yeah.
Well, I think that's why this I found so interesting, is because obviously in 1993 they weren't as conservative, or I suppose this was for Britain, so maybe it's a bit different, but that idea that they were like, let's show this film that we think might be mentally scarring to a group of 8 to 11-year-old kids. And if they're fine at the end, then that will determine the rating. Like, that just seems like the weirdest way to go about it.
It is like, it'd be a weird permission slip to get the parents to sign. Wouldn't it? We're going to show them a film. Is it appropriate? Well, we'll find out.
That's the whole point. Glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Here's what happens. Some people get eaten by dinosaurs.
Yeah. It's by Steven Spielberg. Oh, the man that made Schindler's List. The very same man. Yes, yeah. They made that Holocaust movie. Yeah. We're going to put on one of his films to these kids and see what happens. Yeah. Chances are they'll be fine.
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen? We don't live around dinosaurs anymore. It's like their fears, if they have them, will only be, psychological. If they develop a fear of dinosaurs, that's fine.
That's good, if anything. If they see a dinosaur, they should run.
Yeah, exactly. We're teaching them stuff. I like this idea, though, that to rate films, we just send kids into a room.
Yeah. Now, should you have watched that movie? Oh, definitely not. Well, rated X it is.
Oh, you've wet yourself. Okay. Let me check what that means on the scale. Oh, okay. Yeah. You're not going to do well later on in your life. What if it was like the movie The Human Centipede or something like that? Could you imagine little kids watching that?
It sounds kind of fun. Yeah. Like, that could be a movie. The Human Centipede.
Yeah. It's like The Hungry Caterpillar.
Yeah. It's a fun little story about a man that's turning into a centipede slowly or something like that,
Exactly.
It's like maybe we should remake a movie called The Human Centipede that is just a family-friendly animated adventure about a man transforming into a centipede.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And then a butterfly.
And then a butterfly at the end. That's the happy ending.
Yeah.
Oh, we've given it away.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I like
Spoilers.
it as a system. Just is it the same kids every time, or is it a new bunch of kids every time?
I think it's...
Because they will get desensitized eventually, and they're like, it's fine, everything's fine. They go, everything's PG.
Yeah. No, I think what happens is you rotate out the ones that are adversely affected. So you put in a group of kids and then, they see the human centipede and they're all traumatized for life. Get rid of that bunch of kids. They're no good anymore. They've been tainted. So then you put another group of kids and then we create the human centipede film, and it's a family-friendly film, and it's lovely because he turns into a butterfly in the end. And that's, I think, and then you can use those kids again, like until they've been, mentally scarred, you can keep them in as.
I just quickly confirmed something.
Mm-hmm.
Jurassic Park PG England, PG-13, which is the equivalent to our M here in Australia. What do you think it is here?
Ooh, I think. I actually am tempted to say MA. Because
Which is the equivalent
higher.
to the American R.
Yeah, it is too. Yeah.
Then our R is equivalent to their X. It gets very confusing.
Yes. Well, I thought X was like porn.
It can be. There are films that have been rated X in America, like there's a movie called Shame, which has a lot of sex in it.
Right.
But here it's rated R.
Okay. Right.
Which is just like strictly 18. Can't be any younger.
Yeah. I'm tempted to say MA only because I feel as though they used to be more strict on stuff.
Jurassic Park is rated PG here.
Oh, okay. Maybe
A lot of it's very implied.
I suppose it's not. Yeah, it's not actually. How about when he grabs the arm that comes through the cables? Cambo, it's a severed arm.
But it's not a
No
particularly.
wonder I've been so traumatized in my life.
It's not a particularly like gory arm. There's no like tendons hanging out and blood everywhere. It's just like a.
It's bloodied, Cambo. Yeah. I have a fear of severed arms now, since that film.
But a love of velociraptors.
Yeah, clever girls. Okay, Cambo, let's head into shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
This shower thought is by Sammy Lunick. Oh my god, it could be another I again. A capital I. Sammy Lunick. The older you get, the more utterly unfeasible it becomes to change your mobile number. Here's what I thought when this came up. It absolutely is totally feasible to change your mobile number, and I think the idea of not changing your mobile number is so much more daunting than if you actually change your mobile number.
It's the same with changing your bank.
Yeah.
Changing your bank is incredibly easy, but the thought of it is incredibly hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, even that's like ever so slightly harder in that it's like, well, I have to do research on what bank might be good. If you're changing numbers, it's like one to the other. It means so little. Like the idea that you're like, oh, but all these people don't, won't have my new number. Who do you need, right? Like if there are some people that because you only really need people that are close to you. It's like, oh, what about my high school friend that I haven't spoken to in 3 years? He's got my old number. What if he wants to get in contact with me? It's just like so irrelevant anymore. It's
There's
like
so many ways to do it.
You'll be fine.
Calling someone by the number I have with them is like option 4 of getting in contact with them at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, these days, I feel like we normally still use Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
There's also WhatsApp, which I know goes on your mobile number, but there's also an account. So I think changing mobile number would not be an issue.
Obviously, option number 1 is LinkedIn.
Yeah. I quite often contact people via LinkedIn. Gotta keep those professional connections up, Cambo. It's what I'm all about. But yeah, I think it just definitely seems like a daunting task that is irrelevant.
Is it? Could you do the method of, because obviously people think I'm getting a new number, it's going to be hard to memorize again. But could you just keep resetting your number until you get one that you think is really easy to memorize?
Yeah.
I used to do that with when I worked at the cinema. We had employee numbers, and you could reset an employee number if you needed to. And sometimes, it's like a passcode thing that they had to use.
Yeah.
And sometimes, if someone needed a new one, I would reset it a couple of times until I got a sequence that was really easy to remember. And they're like, you happy with that one? They're like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just do that, but with mobile phone numbers.
Yeah. Or sometimes I'd see if it spelt something out on the keypad.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good one. Yeah. I think, I remember when I first got my phone. And it was funny because I went with my dad to get the phone. And my mum didn't come for some reason, I don't know. And she said, make sure you get a number that's easy to memorize. Because back then, it was landlines were still a thing. So you didn't really have a phone book. You wouldn't save numbers in your phone. So it was, you had to remember numbers way more back in the day, even when mobiles first came out. Because even though you could save numbers, there was like a limitation on. Yeah. I reckon the first phone my dad got, it was like, you can save 10 numbers on this phone, and then that's it.
I remember there's this whole thing about like you had a certain amount of numbers you could save in your phone, and there was this weird ethical question where it's like someone had passed away.
Yeah.
And it's like, how long is it appropriate to keep their contact in your phone before you delete their contact out to make room for a new contact?
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? That's really interesting, actually, that you brought that up, because I've had a friend that's passed away and probably their number's still in my phone.
Yeah.
And I just have not thought about it at all. But that's really interesting. But yeah, I also remember after that happened, my dad and I, we were just given a number at the store. And if my mum was there, she would have been like, I want to look at every number that you have available and we will choose the best one. And me and my dad were like, this is fine.
Yeah.
And my dad said to me, let's just say that this was the best one that we could get. I was like, yeah, okay. Okay, here's another one. This is by MoneyBot13. Cars are becoming extremely technically advanced, but still can't switch the default horn noise.
I think there's a difference between can't and just probably shouldn't.
And won't. Yeah, exactly.
Because a horn is now so embedded into the public awareness, the public consciousness as like a quick, short noise to get people's attention.
Yeah.
And if you swap that out for a bird call, and you're in traffic and you hear... Like, oh god, because often beeping is you slam on the brakes, you beep your horn to let people know that something is coming or whatnot, or if a truck's coming through and someone's in their way, they'll start beeping their horn. Don't swap that out.
Exactly. I feel like the world would be in shambles if we all of a sudden could customize it.
Even if there is, I feel, one horn that is customizable, which is the like that kind of Dukes of Hazzard horn that they have. And that, if I was trapped in an intersection and a truck was coming in, that came on, the first part of me would go, huh, what was that? Without being alerted like a horn should.
Yeah. Maybe we should have two horns. One's a fun horn. One's a get out of my fucking way horn.
But they can't be next to each other because I would accidentally hit the fun one in an emergency. It needs to be somewhere else entirely so I don't accidentally send out some I don't know, some weird office quote or something that I had programmed in as my fun horn.
You're about to hit a pedestrian and hear, never gonna give you up, never gonna say goodbye. Yeah, I think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, terrible.
We shouldn't do this. Here's another one. This is by The Will of D. Or is it... Oh, God, it could be one lowercase I and two uppercase I's. It could be The We of D.
The We of D.
Actually, sounds better. Yeah. One's beauty is a biological accident, not an accomplishment that needs to be acknowledged.
Unless you're one of those people that has just like fundamentally changed everything about them. You know, like people that get like surgeries upon surgeries upon surgeries.
Yeah.
And they never look completely right, but that is an achievement.
Yeah, that's right. They've worked hard.
Yeah.
Put a lot of money into that.
Yeah.
Is there an element, though, of, we associate beauty with thinner people?
And
Right.
health, I think. Like, look at Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Very, very healthy guy. And I get, there is, like, he obviously has nice eyes and nice features and whatever.
Yeah.
But if he were, overweight and portly and maybe didn't take as good care of himself, maybe his hair was thinning or something like that.
Yeah.
Less attractive.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe we shouldn't put as much emphasis on, like, people that have, like, blue eyes or something.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, yeah, they're attractive because of their blue eyes. Or like you said, yeah, hair, if it's thinning or whatnot, you can't really control that. But, like, body weight in the sense of being healthy, and, like, people obviously have to maintain that. It's not a thing that just happens. Then I think it's okay to, like, praise that as or at least acknowledge that as being a beautiful quality. You can be like, hey, you look great. And that's, because you've done good work.
But I also think that there is a thing, especially recently, where very unique features of people which maybe traditionally would have been stripped away are now kind of being like more accepted and celebrated. So like some examples I can think of are Cara Delevingne, supermodel. She's got very bushy eyebrows. And she talked about like all through childhood, she was really kind of like insecure about her eyebrows.
Yeah.
Because you look at supermodels and they always had very, very thin eyebrows.
Yeah.
And until, when she was starting her career and she's like, oh, should I get rid of them? What? People are like, oh, no, that's the thing we love most. Like, we love that you have these big, expressive, bushy eyebrows. And it's like her calling card almost now. Or Anya Taylor-Joy, the girl from The Queen's Gambit. She's got very wide-set eyes. Very large and very wide-set eyes.
Yeah.
Very unique-looking, like, beautiful girl.
Yeah.
And again, she's saying in school, it was always kind of an odd thing. But now I think people love her eyes. Everyone's like, she's got the most fascinating eyes.
Yeah.
Or Adam Driver, like the guy from Star Wars, like kind of like a bigger nose and bigger ears, but people really love him because that's a very unique look to him.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that is becoming more and more of an accepted thing as well. Being like, that's unique and kind of a bit odd, but that's kind of what's cool about you.
Well, yeah, that's right. Like, and I agree with that. And I think that is, again, more to the idea of things that people can't control is okay, because here's my thought. If any one of those people were 200 kilograms, people are going to be like, look at that fatty with wide eyes,
Yeah.
Like, it's only acceptable because the other portions of them
are so thin and
fit into this category of beauty, which again I do like. I also don't want. I realize I'm borderline fat shaming people, and hey, I think if you are too fat, for health reasons, you should not be, and you should look after yourself. But obviously, you don't have to be a super skinny person or anything, but. It's that idea that, you are accepted for maybe things that make you unique that you can't control, but only if the thing that you can control conforms with.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Society's.
In that way, it is a weird double standard, isn't it?
Yeah. But again, like, I don't know, part of me is weird because we've said before, part of of being attracted to somebody is that we feel as though there's like this psychological thing behind it, which is about, oh, well, that person is obviously looks after themselves and is healthy and is perhaps more, mentally secure, not that we're thinking it consciously at the time, but it's like this subconscious idea of like, okay, this person looks after themselves. Like, that's a good quality because they're, healthy and, Yeah, I could come back to that idea like we were talking about nips before, where maybe there's a evolutionary sort of standpoint for it. That it's like, well, if you're somebody that's unhealthy, you're unlikely to provide an offspring or something.
But it is also societal, because being larger used to be the more attractive quality, because it was like you are in a position of privilege and money and wealth, and you could afford to eat in excess. So that was seen as quite an attractive thing. And then I guess probably in maybe like the 20s through to the 50s, when mass-produced food became more of a regular thing, that I guess that stopped being the attractive quality as well. Yeah, I find it kind of interesting that like
it's because
it's probably partly
priority
evolutionary, partly society. Like it's kind of a mix of all things, I think.
Well, I think that still goes by the idea of health, right? Because and the fact that like I don't think anything necessarily changed in that part of our brain that says this person is better as a mate, you know, because in a time where people are starving and somebody's obviously eating a lot, then that's an attractive quality. But that still aligns with the part where everybody can eat healthy, and that person isn't overweight or anything because they're able to, because those people in the past, those like kings and queens, would be unhealthy in today's standards, but they were healthier than those people that are surviving on scraps. So it's
I
like,
see your point.
Yeah. But anyway, all I'm saying, Camby, is can you please fix your eyebrows?
I do have thicker eyebrows.
They're way too I was going to say normal. I feel like yours aren't either big or small. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about my eyebrows.
Look, my eyebrows aren't massive, but I think I've got a thicker eyebrow.
Do you really?
I think
feel
so.
like maybe, but do we have the same type of eyebrow? I'm going to look at myself in my camera to decide.
I think mine just comes further into like the bridge of my nose, whereas yours thins out some.
That's true.
Is this?
Although I think otherwise.
Is this interesting to those who are listening?
Cambo, I can't tell you enough how I don't care about the listeners. I feel like otherwise we've got pretty
just to
normal
paint a
eyebrows.
picture, Nelson has his phone open with the front-facing camera, and I'm seeing his camera in front of his face, and then he'll pull it down and look at me, and then he'll bring it back up and look at himself.
Look, I think we both have pretty normal eyebrows.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Anyway, let's get into podnapping.
Oh my God! I'm being podnapped.
Podnapping.
This is Podnapping, where we nap a pod. We take a topic of conversation or a segment from another podcast, and we do it ourselves.
Yes, so it is my week this week, and I'm actually going to take a suggestion that has come through. I just need to find the name of it. So it's Super's Lime on Discord. It had suggested that we look at InspiroBot.me, which is an artificial intelligence. In fact, I'm going to read you from the website here. It says, I am InspiroBot. I am an artificial intelligence dedicated to generating unlimited amounts of unique inspirational quotes for endless enrichment of the pointless human existence. So essentially what it does is it will design one of those kind of generic inspirational posters that you might see your auntie share on Facebook.
With the little kitten that says, hang in there. Actually, not quite like that one that I think about it.
But it will auto-generate a picture, and then on top of that picture, it'll auto-generate texts, I guess mostly using popular phrases and words that would appear in inspirational quotes.
Yeah.
So, look, it's probably a slightly shorter podnapping here, but what I've done is I've got a little bit of inspirational music here, ready to go.
Okay.
And I thought that we could take it in terms of generating some InspiroBot quotes.
Yeah.
And seeing what kind of wisdom we can impart in the next 2 to 3 minutes to each other.
Can I add to it that if you want and if you can, you try to connect the dots of the saying, like what that actually translates to.
Yeah, great.
You know?
Yep.
If you can, because sometimes you can't.
So there's just a big button here that says generate. So I'll start it, and maybe we'll go 1 for 1 here, Nelson.
Okay. This could also be a horrible version of podnapping, but has that stopped us in the past?
That's the fun, isn't it? Here we go. This is wisdom from InspiroBot. So I have a picture of a city here, Nelson, and it says, morals are what separates you from reptilians.
Yeah, true.
And how do you think that relates to this cityscape that it's showing us?
Oh, because we're all Godzilla, you know?
Yeah, he is a big and he's always ripping down cities. Very immoral.
Very immoral.
Very immoral.
That separates us. This is a scene of a lake with like somebody's legs coming out, like they've just dived in.
Yeah.
Wisdom can motivate you to touch a grown-up man.
Sometimes wisdom can motivate you to touch a grown-up man. I'm a grown-up man, and sometimes I touch myself. Very wise.
Yeah, it's very wise. It's so wise.
What do we got here? What do we got in InspiroBot?
Sadness.
So we have a photo of a woman pulling a beanie down over her eyes, almost as if in embarrassment. And it says, as soon as you forget how to correct her, you forget how to do her.
Whoa! Oh my god! That is the worst!
Yeah.
That is the, treat women poorly of the...
Yeah. If you can't correct her, you don't know how to do her.
Oh my god, that is so horrible. Okay.
And it's implying, because she's pulling this beanie down across her eyes, that you've corrected her, being like, that's not how you wear a beanie. You pull it down over your face.
Okay. Sorry, this is a photo of 2 hands shaking.
Classic.
Paranoia can be a form of body odor. Get a whiff of that paranoia.
Yeah. It would be a great ability to be able to sniff paranoia out, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because you could really tell, I think that if you're doing shady business, you'd be a bit paranoid that people would find out. So as you're shaking hands with that person.
Yeah.
Deal's off.
Deal is off. You smelling a bit of paranoia.
All right, let's do maybe two more each.
Okay.
All right. We've run out of music, so I'm just going to start it again.
Okay, but why didn't... I thought you personalized this music to be in an endless loop.
I did, but you took too long.
Okay.
Okay, so I got a new one loading up here. It's a picture of a man talking on a phone, sitting on a bench. It says, you don't have to walk on the moon to get your own tower.
Oh.
Now, that one almost works.
It's pretty close.
Except for... none of the men that have walked on the moon have a tower.
Oh, but it's so close.
It's so close to being like, you don't have to have walked on the moon to have a great achievement. You know?
Yeah.
It's so close. If there was like the Buzz Aldrin Tower of Space shit.
Yeah. And he was also like the wealthiest person in the world.
Yeah.
You know?
The picture, how does it relate to this man sitting on the phone, do you think? Is he organizing a tower?
He was on the phone to NASA.
Yeah.
Actually, saying, I need to get on the moon. It's the only way I'll get a tower. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah. It's just, it just had to say, you don't have to walk on the moon to get a tower.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, this is a kid going up for a layup in basketball. And this says, human progress will all end up in tears. That is true.
Shockingly true.
I feel like that's definitely true. We're all working.
Wise words, InspiroBot.
We're all working up to the tears.
Walking up to the tears.
That's where we're going.
Yeah. That's great. All right, let's just do one more each, I think.
Yeah.
This is my last one here. It's a picture of a skateboard in a park, just by itself. Mm-hmm. It says, society is society exploring the chaos of living.
deep. That was deep.
That is very deep. And a fun font, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
Society is society, exploring the chaos of living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's really genius.
Hard to connect the dots with that one, so let's just move on.
Okay. This seems fitting to end on.
And it's just in time with the music as well.
Oh, it started up again.
No, it's ending.
Oh, okay. This is a person with their back to you. They've got a tattoo and kind of a scraggly t-shirt on, like wife beater t-shirt on. A blood sacrifice can change girls.
They're not wrong, though, are they?
Yeah.
A blood sacrifice could change a girl.
Yeah.
It could change a girl from being a living girl to a dead girl.
Yeah.
If she is the blood sacrifice.
If she is the blood sacrifice.
Or if you're sacrificing something for the girl, so say, you want the girl to live like eternal life and it requires a blood sacrifice, that blood sacrifice will change that girl.
I have never thought about the fact maybe InspiroBot is trying to let us know that we could sacrifice many people to change many girls' lives. I've never thought that this was actually a logical thing,
Anyway, that was my podnapping. That was InspiroBot.
Is this? Oh my God. I actually thought of a legitimate thing for this, but it's a bit, some people might find it off-putting.
Okay.
This kind of relates to like period. A period. A woman's period. A blood sacrifice can change girls. When they first get it. It's sort of,
Right.
because it can be the point that some people say is like a girl to a woman.
So are you saying that the blood sacrifice of the first period, they're sacrificing their...
It like changes. They're no longer a good girl anymore.
Yeah. They're now
they're a woman.
Interesting.
I've connected the dots really well on that one, I think.
But to be clear, the picture is of a man.
It is of a... yeah, it looks more like a man. But you know what? It's from behind. It could be...
Oh, right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's a tight cropped haircut.
Yeah.
More common for a man, but not necessarily exclusive.
But not necessarily exclusive. Okay. Okay, now it's time for the Ask Me Anything, where listeners of the show, just like you, listener, can write in and ask us anything you want.
We've got a special edition of Ask Us Anything this week. Category called Emails We Missed. Where when I filtered by unread emails, there were a couple from many, many weeks ago, evident by this one being titled Episode 196.
Yes.
Sent back in July. So... it's from Jack. We don't normally start letters like this. We'll start with an apology to Jack.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Dear Jack, really sorry.
We're really sorry. He says, Nelson and Cambo, I've been listening to your podcast for a few months now, and it's gotten me through quarantine. It's crazy that he probably maybe still is in quarantine.
Maybe.
It was said so long ago.
Yeah.
I've been thinking of a good reason to write in, and this episode gave me a good reason. You mentioned that in World War II was announced to be over, there is a picture of a soldier kissing a woman.
Yes.
My dad had a chance to meet that soldier, and he told my dad that it's not actually the soldier's wife, that it's a random Navy nurse that he saw in the streets. His actual wife was just out of frame. That made me think of this question. What would the circumstances have to be for your significant other to be okay with you kissing another woman? From your new Floridian informant, Jack. I like the idea that he's invented informants. I like the idea of informants. Yeah. Because like correspondents will tell us like what's going on. But informants will tell us what's going on.
That is really so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
famously, after that photo, it's the photo in Times Square.
Yeah.
Soldier kissing the nurse. And after that photo was taken, she slapped him across the face.
Yeah, right.
Because he didn't know it.
Yeah. You can't just go around kissing random people. But it is such a... he probably got slapped by her and then also his wife, who was just out of frame.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Like, I can't imagine. I'm sure, they were elated to be back and whatever. But it still doesn't seem to warrant the idea that you can
just kiss
kiss
whoever.
anyone.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a circumstance in my life where I could kiss a random stranger and for them to be like, that's fine.
Yeah.
You deserve that.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah. It's like you've been through some stuff. Go kiss a couple.
Yeah.
The only time I can really think of when it might be acceptable for me to kiss another is like if it were for some kind of a short film or something like that. The example I can think of is I got a friend of ours and he does like sketch comedy. And in one of the sketches, he was dressed up as a sex robot.
Yeah.
He was in a scene with like another actress where it was like the frustrations of this sex robot. And his girlfriend was on the set as well. And they were trying to work out like a way to make it funny and they couldn't quite do it. And he said his girlfriend shouts like, grab her boobs. She's like, that would be the funniest thing to happen. Because it's like I don't know if people listening necessarily have had that much experience like on a set. It's the least romantic place you could ever be because you've got about 12 people watching you.
Yeah.
And you have to do it again and again and then they change it and they change a lot. Like, it's like the least romantic setting. Whereas if they were just alone in a room, he's like, I grabbed her boobs. She'd probably be like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
When it's like clearly for a comedy bit with so many people around that'll make a joke work.
Yeah.
Then suddenly like the context is completely different. And I think that kissing in that circumstance where it's like, oh, you're not going to enjoy this. Like, this won't be a pleasurable experience for you.
So what you're saying, Cambo, is that if you're a creep, get into sketch comedy.
That's what I'm saying.
You can kiss all the women.
Full of creeps.
Grab some boobs occasionally.
It's bloody full of creeps sketch comedy.
Just like males and females, just creeps that want to kiss each other.
And then at the end of this sketch, we kiss.
Yeah.
Should we start a show called The Kissy Sketch Show?
Yeah.
And we'll hire all the creeps.
All the creeps. It's more of a service to the creep.
And no matter what, at the end of every sketch, they just make out.
They just kiss. Yeah. Don't steal our ideas. I think, I don't have a partner. So do you think that there is another circumstance in which, because obviously you're the one with a partner in this scenario, which is real life. Do you think there's a scenario in which Stacey would allow you to kiss somebody that's not part of sketch comedy, you think?
Threesome.
Oh. She allows kissing in the threesome. Okay.
No sex though, just a kissing threesome.
Oh, okay.
No. I wonder if I got back from war and if I kissed a nurse, how she would feel about it.
Yeah. Like,
I don't think that situation is likely to happen, so I think she'd be like, yeah sure.
If
that circumstance happens, just kiss a nurse.
Yeah. It's true, isn't it? Like, you could see maybe. But okay, here's my thing, right?
Yeah.
The soldiers. That was in Times Square, right?
Yeah.
And that was, I guess, just the celebration of.
It's the parade when they'd returned home.
The parade, yeah, right. But it wasn't like they had just returned. You know, or like there was
they're
a
probably
period
home
of
for
time,
a few days.
Like, because I could imagine, okay, you step off the boat, and like at that point, there's people still probably would have been there cheering, whatever, and then you kiss a random person.
Yeah,
more acceptable.
Yep.
Than waiting a few days and on the parade of celebration, then you do it. To me, there's something about like, oh my God, I'm finally home and I'm excited. And even though the parade is still about that celebration of being home and stuff, there's just something about the idea of like, yeah, but you've been here for a few days now.
I wonder, yeah, that's true. Because I guess we don't know the finer details. Because imagine, I don't know, this isn't the circumstance. They get off the boat and they're like, oh, start marching down the street. We've got a parade ready. And they're like, wait, what is it?
Yeah.
They're still kind of disoriented. There's like, I literally thought she was my wife.
Yeah.
I was so disoriented. I was in war.
Yeah.
Just days ago.
Yeah.
I get off a boat that I don't know, I'm just kissing whoever.
Right.
I'm getting slapped left, right, and center.
That's what we did in the wall. We kissed. How about if... Okay, here's a weird one. Stacey has a sister.
Yeah.
And from earlier, they maybe don't look super similar, but not opposites either. What if Stacey's sister had her back to you. You spun around and gave her a kiss, and you're like, oh!
Right.
Whoops. How do you think Stacey would feel about that?
I think that in that circumstance, because it is like a mistaken kiss,
And then you continue to kiss.
Oh, right. I was like, oh well, yeah, okay,
We're already here.
that is the point in which her reaction would change.
Yeah.
What about at the Academy Awards, Adrian Brody, the actor, he won Best Actor. He was quite young at the time. He was like mid-20s. And he when he got up, he was like overwhelmed. And the person that presented him the award was Halle Berry. And he grabbed the award and he grabbed Halle Berry and he leant down and he kissed her as like his big celebration.
Yeah.
Which, you know, not necessarily okay.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that was like a romantic kiss. It was more of a like a...
Yeah.
An expression of like glee, being like, it's the best night of my life kind of thing.
Yeah. I can do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. No, maybe.
But at that time, Hollywood's like, you can do anything.
Yeah,
and it'll
it's like-
never change.
Yeah. Just off to the side is Harvey Weinstein sort of winking at him.
Yeah.
Good
It's something
work.
unlocks in his brain being like, I can do whatever I want.
Oh, it's like I've won Best Actor this whole time. Okay. I will continue to test the theory on at what point Stacey will get angry at you through various scenarios of kisses. Let's say this is an ongoing AMA. Okay, so I have one. Oh, I got out of it like an idiot. Okay, so this one is by Erica.
And what's it titled?
Happy 200th episode. People could still say happy 200th episode.
Yeah, we did do 200.
many episodes through.
Yeah.
Campaign. Somebody could say happy 100th episode.
Write it if you want to congratulate us on our 100th episode.
Greetings. I thought of a podnapping episode based off the true crime comedy podcast, My Favorite Murder. They request their listeners to send in their hometown murders, but they also occasionally get a story of a pervert, such as the Swiss cheese pervert, who held up a piece of Swiss cheese while flashing his penis to random women. My idea for you is to either find a crazy pervert story from your neighborhood or just find some pervert stories from around the world. Your Atlantic Canadian representative,
Oh.
Erica. That's kind of good. Representatives are good as well. If like we need to communicate with the Canadian government,
Well, yeah,
we'll
this is
send our
the thing.
representative.
There's different tiers, right? Our correspondents, they're telling us what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, representatives, if we need something from the Canadian government,
Yeah.
we're going straight there.
We get them. And then the informants tell us what the Canadian government's really doing. So, I mean, this wasn't really the question, but it's a good idea. You know what? Send in, listeners,
I would say
any
that-
weird true crimes. You know what? Send in a fake crime.
We won't check.
Yeah.
The fact that they were so obsessed with perverts makes me think that they're into sketch comedy. Just trying to do a little pervert
Bit of
kisses.
kissy action they're into, I think.
And obviously they shouldn't steal idea for the kissy sketch show.
Yeah, don't do that, obviously. Well, that's it.
That's it. Another one for the books, Nelson.
Another one for the books. Was this our best episode yet, Cambe? Probably not. Anywho. If you would like to write into us, you can do so. Reddit podcast, READIT podcast at gmail.com.
Yep.
You can also reach us on Facebook, Twitter, and our subreddit. They're all READIT podcast.
Or LinkedIn.
Or LinkedIn. Preferably LinkedIn.
Preferably LinkedIn.
We also, just letting you know, we'll definitely read your emails.
Yeah.
Okay? Sure, we might be months late, but we've definitely read them.
Definitely read them.
So can't get us on that.
Also, if you could leave us a review on whatever podcast app you choose, preferably 5 stars in the review. But you know what? You can review whatever you want in the actual review.
Yeah.
That means nothing to us.
That means nothing. Can you? I changed my mind about that. Camber doesn't care. Can you just make it a note to me?
Yeah, just send a note to Nelson. Just about anything.
Yeah.
Nelson, don't forget milk.
But that's it. So thanks for listening, and we will read you later.